Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my garden. And today I'm going to take you on, it's not my first garden tour because I've done something that was kind of like showing you where my garden's going to be, but this is my very first actual garden tour. And I just kind of want to take you along just to show you how things are growing. I'm not finished putting things into the ground yet, but there's a story behind that which I will explain. But just come with me and I'll take you through my garden that I have. So as you see, that behind me is my container garden, and I do have some adjustments to do. And this is what's wonderful about having a container garden, is I can rearrange the container to what suits the needs, because this is my first year and I just want to see how things grow and what is best suitable for the situation, the position of where they're going to be. But I will take you along with me. So right behind me here is where I've started my cherry tomatoes, and this one over here is doing really well. It's starting to get nice and big. And with cherry tomatoes, I see that there is quite a bit of growth, suckers and everything, but with cherry tomatoes, you don't want to pick off those growths. You just want to let it grow. Last year, I did not know that, and I was picking off all of the armpits of it, and then realized later on that I didn't need to do that. And then over here, let's see if I can show you. This is another tomato. My husband came and watered the garden for me this morning, which I wanted to do, but that's okay. Sometimes help is nice. This is more cherry tomatoes. I've taken a lot of the bottom growth off because it was dying off. It's taking a hard time growing over here. This one does have some growth already. I've got some basil in here, which are starting to come along. This flower growth just keeps coming around. And here's another little basil. So that's just my cherry tomatoes. They're doing pretty good. I've interplanted some basil in with it. I'm going to take you here over to one of my square gardens. Here is my garlic and onion coming along really, really well. I've taken some of the tops off the onions because we had quite the windstorm and all of them were bent over. And so I just harvested that about a couple weeks ago. Here is my kale. It's coming along quite well. I put some oregano that was in a container and just planted it here. This is my Swiss chard. This one's smaller than this one. This one's coming along quite well. My peppers are in the back. They're doing fun. Over here, I'm trellising my cucumbers, which are coming along quite well as well. Yesterday, I had to harvest my first pickle cucumber because I wanted to wait till I could actually film the video, and it needed to be picked. So I did pick it, but as you see, I do have some more flowers coming along. Doesn't look like I have any female cucumbers flowers yet, but they're doing quite well. And then over here, as you can see, I've got some cucumber growing along here. There's other spots, lots of flowers. Another pickle growing there, and lots of flowers. So I can see that this is going to come along quite well. And now to see my seed growth, to show you the difference. Here's my seed growth. So I've got a couple of pickles. Now this is the second planting of seeds. I didn't film because it had been dug up, and so I decided to just try and seed and see if I can continue to go from there. And over here, I thought it was all dug up, and it turns out there was a bean still here. So this one is coming along fairly well, and hoping to see if I can get some growth from that. Now my tomatoes raised in their container gardens. These are my determinate tomatoes, and they are coming along really, really well. They're starting to get some of their first flowers. I was told that determinate style, they kind of grow everything all at once, and then look at that, and then they grow. But already I've seen like this, I'm not exactly certain if that was just it dried up and it's not gonna fruit or what, but the rest of them are doing quite well. But I do have lots of flowers growing on this one. It's the very first one on the garden here. And then there's this one. It's doing quite well as well. It's getting its first flowers just started, so it almost seems to be a bit behind the other, which for me that'll be okay, because I don't know if I want too many tomatoes all at once. Then there's the other ones. Yeah, they're all doing really, really well. So I'm looking forward to seeing these grow. If you see the one right back there, that one is the same height as this one. And you see the sun's already getting it, so it's already starting to do well in that corner. So we will see how these grow and how they produce. So I'm looking forward to this. Right here you see my potato bag that I started. I don't think I filmed the potato bag, but I put a couple of tomatoes, yeah. I put a couple of potatoes that were sprouting in the house, and I put them in this bag, filled it with manure and soil, and this is what I have, and it is doing really well. Now over to this part of the container garden. The sun's coming up, so I can't see as well. You guys probably can see better, but here is my peppers. Now if you see, it's being shaded, so I'm gonna try and move these tomatoes up and put all the peppers down below, so they have a chance to get as much sun as the tomatoes are getting. So this one's good. I moved it over yesterday because look at, these were right over there, and I just want them to be able to do better. This is my carrots. They're coming along so well. I'm very excited about that. And then my radishes, which, I mean, how beautiful does that look? And I did look down at the root systems, and sure enough, they're starting to bulb up. So that's exciting to me. And these poor little plants. So my husband came and watered for me. And now my plants are all starting to sag. So I don't hope that doesn't affect their bulb growth. Because they look like they're still loose. I might have to add some more soil to the roots of these so that they can actually bulb, because they were not going to bulb that high off the soil. Then over here, I put the strawberries in here, and I did not film that. There's some things that just need to get done, and I did not film doing, and I kind of wish I did, but at least I'm documenting it through this. But there's my strawberries. Here's my lettuce. I've harvested already 3 times off of this lettuce patch here, so it's doing quite well. And this oregano I've harvested off as well. I put it in a spaghetti dish that I wanted to make. Here is my herb garden, and just look at how beautiful that is. So the dill is doing quite well. This is the coriander, doing well. This is my parsleys and my oregano and my basils. So I'm probably gonna have to thin out this basil to one plant, or two plants, we'll see. I can certainly have a good harvest even off of the basil that I have grown already. And here's my sage, which is doing so much better than the sage that was grown indoors. So I don't think I'll grow sage indoors again. This is just so much more prolific here. And this is my mint, and it's laying down because it was yet again watered. I like to do for my these little guys, I like to do it so it's just kind of raining over top. My husband, I think, sprayed right at them. Here's more of this. I had a bunch of seeds fall into an I was storing my seeds, my herb seeds, in an envelope because I tried doing herbs. Oh, look it. Are you gonna go and help me with all of my pollination? Can you go pollinate my flowers? Anyways, this is because he likes my parsley. This was the seeds that spilled out. I didn't know what they were. So we have one basil, quite a few curly leaf parsleys, and flat leaf parsley. So I'm excited because not a lot of my curly leaves are doing well in my herb garden. Here's my artichokes that I am trying to harden off, and I think they're probably hardened off now. And there's a couple of mints growing in there as well. They grew randomly because the seeds weren't germinating. It all got dried out when I went away for when my granddaughter was born, and they decided to sprout. Show you this part of the garden. This is my snot peas, and this one here, I think I am going to finally pick. I don't even know how to tell when they're ready to go. I thought they would just pick off. Maybe it's not ready. Oh, this one's nice. They're all coming along quite well. I've got quite a bit of flowers, and I have a second one growing. There's my cauliflowers, really not doing much. Here's my in-ground potato, and it is doing really well. I've hilled it all the way to the top, and it's doing really well. Here is my broccoli, and they are already starting to head up, and I've got 3 broccoli plants in the garden, and I've got still a few lettuces in here. They're really not doing well, and obviously you see that it does really need to be weeded. I really wish that I had gotten some mulch for this garden. This bed really stays quite moist because it only gets the morning sun. And look at that. I have a flower growing in here. Oh, and looks like my garlic, so I think this is garlic, are growing in here. Or some kind of onion is growing in here. That could be bunching onion. I do not look at that. I can't wait until I see flowers growing. Now right here is where I planted the sunflower seeds, and much to my dismay, I think a couple had sprouted, and then I came back and they were gone. I'm not certain if this is a sunflower. It's got soft leaves. This over here, which I didn't even think it was over there. And then there's one more that could quite possibly be, I can't find it now. So I am definitely over 150 seeds gone. So that was very disheartening. But this is part of what we learned. So some of those were gifted to me, which is okay, and the others I purchased online and from other garden areas. So sometimes it's just a loss that you have to take. And I did really want to have some sunflowers. But if I just get a couple, that will be fine too. I can actually show you my peony that's right beside it. This one we've had growing in the garden for a long time. And just look how beautiful that is. And the flowers, aren't they so gorgeous? I just love this one. We have a pink, light pink one, but the flowers have already all died off on that one. And then this one comes up. So I noticed this side of the garden grows later than the other side of the garden. And it's just how things work around here, I guess. Over here, this is where my lilies and my hostas is. And I don't know, this area here is probably 5 feet by about 8 feet, and it's just overgrown. And that's from transplanting. I put this little bird bath and seeds here, but I guess the birds don't know about it, and they're not even bothered by it. They don't even come over here. So I've not seen anything over here in this area since I put it here, but I was kind of hoping to encourage animals to come over here, but nothing so far. So I'm now going over to my big garden in the back, and I'm just going to show you what I have back here. My husband well watered this too. Here is these are acorn squash, and they're doing quite well. They transplanted really well. This is the seeds that I've grown, and this is pumpkin, and look at another seed that's grown well. This is my watermelon, and as you can see, I've taken off all of the old growth because it was all dying off and they were not looking the healthiest. So I've covered this area in soil in hopes that it'll root itself and start off new growth. And then over here is some watermelon seeds. Something's already eaten an entire leaf off. So I'm hoping that, if it stunts its growth, that's fine because I got this one going. Actually, I'll probably just pick that out of the ground and let that one grow. Then I didn't realize how close it was to this zucchini. And this zucchini is really starting to, you can tell it's rooted really well now. And the transplanting's been pretty successful. And I think I've seen, some growth under there. So I think it's going to come along quite well. Over here is where this is the one that I kind of helped save itself, and over here I did the exact same thing. So both my both of them, oh look at it, it's actually got new growth. Both of them are quite leggy, so I thought I'd just kind of help it along by trying to see if it can reroot itself as well. And then that's one of my pumpkins over there. And this flower's been opening up every day, waiting for a female flower to come along. And I don't know if I have any female flowers quite yet, but I have a bunch of new growth, so that's exciting. In my space in here, oh look at something's been digging in here, but that's okay. This is my Space Master cucumbers. So I seeded 3, all 3 grew. So I might have to transplant one of those, but that's okay. And then over here, I didn't put this on film, but I put some of my strawberries out into the garden. I tried hardening them off. I had them out every day for an hour or so, and then just brought them out for on a rainy day for a good while. And they're doing okay. Nothing's bothered with them, which is good, but I've got de-weed here because it looks like I was kind of waiting to see if other growth would come along, but it doesn't look like any of my celery or any of my other spinach has grown. So I'm just going to call it on that. De-weed all of this. And here is a couple of the brassicas I put back here. Oh, this one's been watered and dropped down. I want to go ahead and mulch all of this. This has only been in for about a week now. And then here is my spinach. So they're starting to come along. They're quite tiny, but I probably could harvest some of the bigger leaves. And this spinach grew randomly over here. I have no real, oh, this does have some growth in here. So we'll see how these do. I might have to find a support for that and see if I can get it standing. But here is my indeterminate tomatoes along here. And look at them, they're doing quite well. I've got some basil in with these, and I've saved this space, and I've actually de-weeded this already last weekend, so I'm gonna have to come in here and do some more de-weeding. I might have to re-water this garden because it's looking like it still needs more water. And as you see, I still have something coming in and digging in the ground, which I think is still chipmunks. And but we will see. I have this spot here, like I was saying, sorry. This spot here I've saved for my Kellogg's breakfast tomato, which is growing inside. It's not doing the greatest yet. Just waiting until it grows a little bit bigger. And my zucchini plant. And I've had a bunch of marigold over here last year, and I took some of the seeds and spread them out. And I was wondering if these are marigolds. They're probably not, but it would be funny if it was. Now, I did do a video on seeding all of this with corn, and I did have some sprouts on some of my corn, and then something came along and topped every single one of them off, as well as I don't think that was a corn. If it was, I've just pulled it out. Maybe I should have left it. But I have also this growing up here, which I did not grow anything here. How do you know, you know? This looks like a lily, for sure. Okay. And I'm gonna mulch this area too. But something came and topped all of the corn, as well as ate every single seed that I put in here. So I have, in the house, I have some starts that I have decided to start it all indoors. And they're actually doing quite well. So I'll show you that as well. This is how my corn is doing, growing indoors. And I'll get this into the garden soon enough. I'm going to show you this. I didn't show you how my Swiss chard and my kale are doing in my garden bed. So let me show you that. So here is my Swiss chard, which this one's really not doing anything. It's almost like it's stunted. Looks like something's getting at it. And then this one is doing quite well. Actually, there's two of them there. And then these kale are coming along quite well. And yeah, they're doing quite well. So very happy with that. So thanks guys for coming along to my garden for 2022. Much bigger than last year. I think I'm gonna get a lot more fruits than last year. And I'm really looking forward to this year just to see how this grows, see how successful this is. Already learned some things I'm going to change for next year. I'm going to start my cucumbers and my melon and my pumpkins later than I started this year, so that they're only just new growths, smaller growths, so that they can be hardened off and then grown better in the garden. I think they're going well. The only thing I might suggest to myself with my cabbage and I might actually do cabbage next year, sorry. With my broccoli and cauliflower, more of my brassicas I should say, I'm going to do, make sure that they're really close to the light to start. And who knows, I might purchase some more grow lights next year. Everything's going to be a learning curve. I just figured out later on in my seed starting with the grow lights how to lower them so that they are close to the closer to the seedling. Also, another part of this year that we're doing is right here. As you see, there's some things that are covered in plastic. This is going to be a gazebo that we put right here. So there is a lot of damp, a big, large area space here where we had a pool at one time, and when the kids were little, and so we're going to actually lay down some type of stones, and we will put a patio here with a gazebo. So that is a plan for the future. I'm gonna actually show you one other thing, because this is one of my favorite things about this garden, is coming out here and sitting on my deck. And I'm going to show you my view from this view. And this is just what I come out and sit in every evening. But after I work a busy day, I just want to come and sit and relax, and I come out here and relax and just enjoying the evening. I'm hoping that the next time we'll see more growth, maybe be able to harvest some things, and hopefully, because I was working this week and there's been so much sunshine and rain. But anyways, I just want to thank you guys so much for coming to my garden video, my little tour, actual garden tour. And I hope you like this video. If you do like this video, please just give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed already, just click the subscribe button. Thank you very much, and have a great day.